on Trump belittling Canada, Canadians, Canadian soldiers and families, minimizing what we did. First is, I might say, I'm wearing my ball cap I got in Afghanistan. That's, what did that say, TF-108 Afghanistan, the tour I was on. That's my first initial and name. And the other side says 25 Alpha, C Troop. The guns I was with in the artillery. So learning and practicing different communication skills from Chris Voss, Master Negotiator. I'm going to sound harsh, and a lot of people are not going to like what I say when I try to practice Chris Voss skills to label Trump's perspective, his view. Feels like Trump's view is that, sounds like Trump's view is that Canada didn't do enough, that we had a small role to play. So I'll say a few things. I'll add to what Trump says. I'll read between the lines, listen to what he's not saying to make his point. So we Canadians used the American Blackhawks like our taxi cabs. They give us rides everywhere. Should we have our own? Maybe, maybe not. I know some Canadian Special Forces talked about having like the A-10 Warthog ground attack plane. You probably heard in the movies, and the plane that does this, when it lets go of the gun, it just a brap. That's an understatement. The only time I heard it for sure was 96 in Gagetown when the Americans come up. So we have Canadians Special Forces, who've spoken of the importance of our own troops needing, not a want, but a need, to have ground attack planes like the Warthog. And it doesn't have to be the Warthog. There's a lot cheaper alternatives. I say cheaper because we don't have the budget. Even if we buy some of the cheaper alternative, it won't bring us up to the 2% GDP, but it might. Is it necessary? I don't know. But it might give us additional tools so that we can fend for ourselves on the battlefield. Is it necessary? I don't know. Another point, a different point from Trump's perspective, and in combination with my past experience, I might say, I know of a time, even in the mid-90s, Canada used to have heavy lift helicopters, and a lot of them, and several of them, I don't remember the names, but there was the Chinook a twin rotor. And there was a smaller variant, I forget its name, similar twin rotor, smaller body, lighter load capacity. And so granted, we now have Chinooks again for many years, about 20 years, 25, about 20 years we didn't have a heavy lift helicopter capability. So granted, we have some now. Is it enough? I don't know. Do we need it in combat? I think so. Do we need it in training? I think that's debatable. In peacetime, probably, maybe need heavy lift capability and training. What else can I say to make Trump's point? Trying to practice Chris Voss skills. Trying to label Trump's point of view. Again, I said a lot of people aren't going to like what I say. So I'm going to try to double down and lay it on thicker. I don't know what else we could do to be able to fend for ourselves in combat. Do we need the Little Bird, the small light attack helicopter, the one that usually transports special forces? I don't know. Personally, I don't think so. It feels like it's too late, and I say that from the perspective of an outsider, as a layman who doesn't know anything about sniper teams, except I got to talk to sniper teams in Afghanistan, but otherwise it feels like sniper teams might best be served by like a helicopter like the Black Hawk. Maybe we, again, to make Trump's point, maybe we should have Black Hawks for our special forces, so that we don't have to beg, borrow, and steal favors to call for a taxi for troops to go in and out of combat or into positions. What else could we invest in from America's point of view? What else do we need? Comment below. Might have some Americans watching. What do you think? I've been studying these skills from a mental health perspective, though that applies with, feels obvious, applies to everyday life. So I am trying to, I just don't know what else, what other equipment. Maybe in the north. Let's talk about the north for a minute. About 20 years ago, I read a military magazine that talked about a new breed of sea mines. The magazine was about a UAV drone submarine that was designed to detect a new breed of sea mines, but it could also be used to do oil and gas and mineral exploration, and it was leased to different countries exactly to detect a new breed of sea mines. So what is that? Well, instead of buying more manned subs, it might be worth investing in more drone subs. There's talk of and bases that have started being built, and more talk of more. Maybe we should. Some of those bases were started. It looks like some of those are mostly, I don't know, unmanned bases, like stations. And so, do we need a manned base up north? I don't know. Might be time. How about, well, let's continue on the north for a minute. Talk about skidoos. DEW is a business that built a new breed of skidoos. Maybe we should bring Bombardier back, as in the manned crew. Let's call it a crew vehicle that could patrol the north. You might have seen them. It might look like a small school bus with skis in the front and a track in the back, like a half track with skis, where the crew could be warm inside. Maybe we should have some of these, invest in a vehicle, not necessarily tracked or skied, maybe wheeled. There's lots of wheeled vehicles that do great jobs of patrolling cold areas, snow-covered areas. Maybe we should invest in Arctic vehicles besides the Skidoo. Besides the Skidoo, we do have still some of the BV-206, which is a tracked vehicle. They're a manned crew vehicle. Maybe we should bring them out of storage, and the M113 was another one that was great in snow-covered terrain. And we have a lot of the M113s still. So what other, I think the lav with a flotation tire might work. But maybe we need something like the old Bombardier school bus, a light, rapid. Doesn't have to be tracked or skied. Like, look at some of the Icelandic trucks where they have the big flotation tires. Maybe we need something like the Bombardier or like the Icelandic vehicles, where just so that we can, does that make Trump's point? On the Arctic region, I don't know what else to say. Now let's maybe shift to like our borders, like our ports on the East Coast and West Coast, especially. Do we need additional border security at airports? How does the military play into that? In the old days, we used to have a quick response team on different bases, and it'd be like a volunteer firefighter unit. Just the QRT used to have their day jobs, and they were also part of another hat they wore was quick response team. Maybe we need the military to have QRTs on each base, specifically for civil defense, for things like airports and seaports. Because an airport is border security. I don't know. I don't know that we need more ships, but on border security, on either coast and at airports, but it feels like a QRT would go a long way. Let me know what you think. Comment below. Like, subscribe. Maybe I should ask that at the beginning of the video. Thanks for your time. Appreciate your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Bye for now.